Hey guys, it's your girl Marielle. Welcome back to my channel, Friday Night Light Movie Reviews, where we do reactions and reviews to TV shows, movies, and other digital content. So today, we're coming to you guys with the review and reaction to Creed 3, which is Michael B. Jordan's directorial debut. And the movie is starring Tessa Thompson, Michael B. Jordan, Felicia Rashad, Mila Davis, and Jonathan Majors, also with Wood Harris. So we're just going to talk about what I like, what I didn't like, where it falls in our stars category, and would I recommend you guys going to see it, and is it movie theater worthy. So before we jump into any of that, you know what I'm going to ask you guys, so go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. Don't forget to share this video with your friends so we can continue to grow this channel. As always, hit me up on my other digital platforms. Those links are down in the bio. Don't forget also to hit that notification bell where you will be notified when I upload new content. So let's just jump right into it. I'm going to give you guys the synopsis, the plot of this movie, and then we will go on. So still dominating the boxing world, Adonis Creed is thriving in his career and family when a childhood friend and former boxing prodigy returns after serving 18 years in jail. He is eager to prove that he still has it and that he deserves a shot. But when things come ahead between both Adonis and Dame, we see the ultimate fight face off between these two former friends. So with all that being said, I kind of just want to start. This is the first sports movie to be shot on IMAX cameras. Now, through the movie, it's not shot through all of this movie. The IMAX cameras were chosen to be used for the fighting scenes and the entrances that we see within each fighter. With that being said, I thought this was an amazing choice done by Michael B. Jordan, because before I finish that, this is going to be a spoiler-free review. I just think this movie is too great, too juicy to just spill any beans. I feel like you should go into this with fresh eyes, a fresh perspective, and not have any spoilers at the forefront of your mind. But I will say this. The IMAX cameras, like I said, were shot just for the fighting scenes and, you know, the scenes where each character is getting prepared to fight. So there's a particular scenes, which is probably, I want to say 10 to 15 minutes long. That is phenomenal. Like, it's so crisp. It's so seamless. And I know this doesn't make sense, but being shot on the type of cameras that they were using, these IMAX cameras, it brought so much more emotionality into each scene, because it was just kind of like a 3D kind of moment. It was just so in your face, and I just thought that was a great choice by Michael B. Jordan. It was ridiculously epic. That's all I can say about that. Okay, so let's talk about the chemistry between Adonis and Bianca. So with the three movies spanning over 8 years, we really got to see the chemistry between the actors grow, with Michael B. Jordan starring and directing with Tessa Thompson. It was beautiful to see. They didn't miss a beat. It literally picked up right where they left off from the second film. We see the growth between them as not only husband and wife, but as parents to their daughter Amara, who we see, because the third one is about 15 years later. So their daughter is about 7-8 years old, I guess. And when I say 15 years later, I'm talking about from the first all the way to the third, because if you do 15 years later, she should be older than that. But through the course of this franchise, I would even say that their on-screen chemistry is just very much like Adam Sandler and Drew Barrymore, or Emma Stone and Ryan Gosling. There's just a chemistry. There's just a way, and what they pull out of each other is so great for the screen. And I'm glad that we got to see them back together, and we got to see them more mature, you know, because between the span of 8 years, it's not like they were children, but they kind of grew up, you know, just from their past and decisions that they thought they would never have to make, or live a life that they thought they would never be able to have. I just think that it was done great, and we can see that emotionality that Michael B. Jordan put into this film with each scene, with interactions, with different characters. I mean, there were a lot more characters. They did bring back Drago, which I thought was so dope. So definitely. And then they brought back the boxer that he fought in the first one that he didn't win the first time. So I just thought he made great choices during this movie and picking the characters and picking the actors that played each part in this film. Michael B. Jordan did amazing. You can see some of the inspiration of this film portrayed like through anime. So this is not a spoiler. It's just more so me describing the scene so you can kind of get the context of what I'm explaining when I say it was definitely inspiration from an anime show. Side note, Jonathan Majors, who plays Dame, one of his photo shoots was, inspired by the same anime that I'm talking about. So there's a scene in this movie where Adonis is fighting. He's in his corner, getting ready to hear that bell ring again so they can start fighting. And where we see the anime movie where you can see how the body moves, how it, pulsates and everything like that. He's seeing that, and it's kind of giving him, okay, this is what my next step is. This is where my punch needs to land. This is how I'm going to win this fight. And it was definitely pulled from that inspiration from that anime. I really did enjoy how Michael B. Jordan brought the emotionality into this movie, especially when it comes to Dame and Adonis. Dame is played by the incomparable Jonathan Majors, who we definitely need to keep a good eye on because he's going to do phenomenal things in this industry. But the emotionality between each of these characters, even the characters that played Adonis and Dame when they were younger, all the way up to Michael B. Jordan and Jonathan Majors. I mean, it's a type of masculinity that we don't really see portrayed in films when it comes to Black men. We did get to see a good portion of it in a movie like Moonlight, but it's so wide and in span of different movies. It's a breath of fresh air to see it acted out in this movie, especially with the backstory or as we would call the origin story for each character of Adonis and Dame. So I just thought he did a great job. Dame is the antagonist in this movie. As we saw in the trailers, we see that he served jail time. I'm not going to give away what the cause was. And we also know that he felt like this is the life that he should have had, that Adonis stole that life from him. And that's how we see this emotional roller coaster with Dame and how he approached him, and Adonis letting him come into his home, meeting his wife, meeting his daughter. It was just a great thing. And so you're like, oh, you don't want to like him. You don't want to like Dame. But him being the antagonist, once we start to see his life and his story he comes full circle. And it's not that you're rooting for him, but you absolutely understand why he took these steps to do and to get where he is in this film. So great job, Michael B. Jordan. He comes full circle. And I also believe the character Adonis also comes full circle. Because we do see what am I trying to say? The growth. That's what I'm trying to say. The growth and maturity that we do see from Adonis. He also has to go back and to touch that child inside of him to deal with the things so he can have a head to know where Dame is coming from and make the decisions and facing it, saying, okay, we're gonna fight and this is what it is. I really did love the part between Bianca and Adonis in one of these scenes where we see that vulnerability, we see that emotion that not only comes from Tessa Thompson in a different place where she's trying to give her husband, advice like, you can't keep it in, it's not easy for me either, but we cannot stay there. If we stay there, we can't even pretend to try to get ready for the future, especially if our present is still living in that past. So I think that it was great. Another thing that I really liked about this movie and the franchise is that even though we had 3 different directors for each film, so the first one was directed by Ryan Coogler, the second one was directed by Stephen Caple Jr., and obviously this one directed by Michael B. Jordan. With each film, we felt the growth of Adonis as a boy going into as a man, and we also see that growth with Bianca as well, dealing with her progressive hearing loss and seeing how they are together when it comes to their daughter Amara, who is hearing impaired. So another thing that I really enjoyed about just the making of this movie and hearing the interviews, that Michael B. Jordan did cast a hearing impaired child actor. We know that doesn't happen very often, and we know that some children actors who are great, they'll learn how to do sign language, but the fact that he knows that there's that same talent out there with a hearing impaired person, and I thought he did a great job with the casting with Mila Davis, who does play Amara. So with all of that being said, I don't really have a negative thing to say about Creed 3. I'm not going to hold you guys. I was kind of on the fence because I'm like, this is a long franchise. And I know some people were like, why was Sylvester Stallone not in this movie? But you don't really miss him. And it kind of gives you the feeling in this movie, not like they forgot about him and that they wrote him off. It's just that what we saw at the end of Creed 2, where it was a transition for Rocky to try to get back in with his family, with his son. So it's kind of like nature took its course, and we know that love is still there. So we didn't really need to see Sylvester Stallone, but we did feel that, his presence was definitely in this movie. So what am I giving Creed 3? I'm giving Creed 3 5 stars. This movie was just great. The approach, the way Michael B. Jordan attacked this film and this script, shooting on IMAX cameras, it was just stellar. He brought his A game and he did not disappoint. This is definitely movie theater worthy, so definitely go check it out. If you have an IMAX theater, it's just going to make it even 1,000 times better, but it still will give you that same crisp, right in your face feeling if you go see it in a theater that has Dolby. So with that being said, we are at the end of this review, guys. I thank you so much for sticking around with me. I know I haven't been around, but there's a video explaining that. So as always, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Hit that notification bell so you know when new content is uploaded. And as always, be safe, be courageous, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.